I'm not exactly sure why I was invited up here. No, I know. The Daniel and Kate and the dad routine over there. And there's a few people who've seen me up here before, and they know that 5 minutes can take 50, and you're welcome to snore and pass out. This is ad-lib. Fiona Mary, I've seen you walking back and forth and back and forth. Am I allowed in? I go to the potty. Am I allowed in? I'll come in. No, it's raining. I'll go to the potty. No, I'll stay out there. And I just want to let you know, I was thinking about the depth of this honour to be up here tonight. And speaking about Colin and Alison, two fantastic people I'm very, 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 very proud to know. And it struck me that I should go stand by my dad, who's over there, having hidden. He was right in that empty chair by my mum, who's right behind Penny, who's pretending she never sat there. And my dad, he's over there beside Daniel and Kate, who are thinking, Jesus Christ, we've got a bit of a mess here. But anyway, and I'm standing beside him, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have another one of these mulled wines. They're beautiful things, and they're warm, and there's a lot of alcohol in them. Thank God, I'm going to talk a bit later and go through all this stuff. And he goes, that's my second son over there, standing by his wife Yuka. And I'm like, well, that's my brother with his wife Yuka, and I'm standing by my dad. Why is he introducing me to this person? So anyway, so there's the reason why I'm up here tonight, because quite frankly Dad's had far too much to be up here. So I thought I'd go into this Taylor thing a little bit. I'm standing in this Norman keep and I'm thinking, you know, if I was an archer up here and the wind was blowing, this would be bloody cold. And you know, and there's a couple of guys out there smoking cigarettes and somebody pretending she doesn't smoke. Danielle. And they're like, why are you wearing a kilt? And I'm like, I've got no idea. Colin told me to wear a kilt. I don't know. I came over the plane in pants and then back in pants, trousers, for those of you who don't know what pants are. But I'm wearing a kilt right here.
But not very nice too.
And Colin's like, and no pants. And Colin's like, well, what colour are they? I'm like, oh, no, those are the green and red and yellow stripy ones. And why are you wearing one of those things? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm going to find out. So I decided I'd get on the internet last night, about 7 or 8 o'clock last night. I'm on the internet. Alison's gone home. Thank God she's gone home. She's dreaming about Colin. It's boring. She's salivating. She's thinking about her romance. She's thinking about going away, honeymoon, all that stuff she hasn't had in a while. And you're like, oh, thank God she went home. Now we can do something interesting. And you go, I'm on the internet, and I'm like, okay, Taylor. Yeah. Roger Taylor sucked at Wimbledon. Oh, okay, can't be that Taylor. Got to be another Taylor. So I get into the Taylor thing, and Taylor's. This is a historical thing, and I apologise for the history of this thing, and I know I've got about a minute and a half left, so I'll be very brief. Tailors used to sew stuff up and make battle dress for people in Scotland when they were fighting against the people from England. And prior to this session, I thought I was English. So I thought, okay, that's cool. We came up to Scotland, and these guys made stuff for people who beat the crap out of us and sent us home again. So I was like, okay. So I was checking into this stuff, and you've got tailors, and in the French version were called scissors. Well, you can imagine the French went home because nobody wanted last name scissors, so you were left with tailors. Okay, so the tailors are in Scotland, and they beat the crap out of tons of English people in the 1600s, so they got elevated, and they got knighthoods, and they got all these fancy banners. So I'm standing there in the church, and I'm like, oh man, look at that banner. That is one serious banner. And I'm thinking, you know, what is a sporran for? Now, I'm not going to tell you what a sporran's really for, because I haven't figured it out yet, but I did some of this stuff. I did a little bit of research last night. And I want you to know Alison, you can use some of this stuff in the bush in the middle of the set, wherever the hell you're going. Anyway, and I'm not touching the cake, don't worry. I want you to know that we're very proud of the fact that we could not make a banner to be here today. But the Osborne family does have a banner. Right? And I want you to know that my dad went down to the high street and bought the red and silver. The red you can paint on, and the silver absolutely sucks. It doesn't matter what you do to it, you can't put it on there. But anyway, that is Jugagny, which I thought was great, since a French banner should have, well, sorry, an English banner should have French words underneath it, meaning whatever I win. But anyway, I'm putting that out for interest so that the band guy can step all over it later. So I was like, okay, we're going to check into my heritage, because the Taylors are obviously highly noble, and they dominate Scotland. The Taylors came out in warfare in the 1600s, beat the crap out of the English as part of the Camerons. John, Penny, bow down to the nobility. I appreciate it. So I checked into Osborne, and I have to say that I thought I was English, but I've since found out I have absolutely no English in me whatsoever. We never were in England. We came from Denmark, and we showed up as, let me think about this a minute, Osbjorns, which if you're an American, so I'll tell you that means you're hung like a bear. Bjorn being a bear and Oz being me. So anyway, so you're hung like a bear, and then you end up in the north of France. And William the Conqueror, you happen to think, is a pretty cool idea, because Harold's kind of stretched out, he's a little bit thin, you think you're going to invade, and no, I digress, I go back a minute. So I thought, well, ask Mum who we're related to. Well, Mum has left Dad, because Dad's over there, and McDonald's and McFarland. You've got a McDonald right here, I'm extremely proud to be a McDonald. I had no idea I was a McDonald, and I'm thinking, well, this is a good tartan, it's got to be a McDonald. Are we McDonald's? No. Well, if you go back into the 1600s, you'll find out a couple of McDonald's. There was Oystein the Fart, which I thought was a very noble name for a McDonald. And there was Alistair the Warty. Well, I was thinking, well, Patrick kind of resembles one or two of those. That's my brother over there that my dad alluded to earlier while he was saying, Nigel, that's my second son. Anyway, I was like, okay, we're not McDonald's. So I was like, okay, we must be McFarland's, because we don't want to be McDonald's. McFarland's. Well, I can tell you in 1647, all the McFarland's are rounded up for cattle rustling, and they were summarily executed. So Daniel and Kate, who are a lot slower than the rest of us over there, would appreciate the fact that obviously we can't be McFarland's anymore, so we're something else. So we're standing here in kilts, and we're really covert, and we really don't deserve to be here, so we end up in the north of France as Osbjorns, which means we're hung like bears, baby. And it's like, we're out there in the north of France, and we decide to invade England. Harold's all stretched out, we go into the north of England, and Osborne de Bonnebec, from somewhere in the north of France, decided that he was really going to hang out with William the Conqueror. And I thought, man, think of the meaning behind this. We're 70 feet up in the air, freezing them off in these kilts, wishing Alison and Colin would show up and get married. It's like, it's a Norman keep. And that's what the Osbornes were. They were absolutely Norman to the hilt. So what I want you to think about here as you leave this horribly boring 5 or 10 minutes you've spent with me is I want you to think about how immensely proud I am to have spent so many years with Alison, who is a goddess, and my sister Alison, who's also a goddess, and my wife Alison. We can cover a lot of bases with that one. They're both goddesses in the general vicinity. And I want you to think about how we got here. We got here through ancestry that mixed and blended and melanged and everything else, and we ended up as Scottish, English, Welsh, Irish, or whatever we ended up as. Very, very proud to be here with you guys, and we would not have got here if our parents hadn't spent a little time with us. Now, my dad less, because he's all the way over there, but my mum. And I want you to, hey, raise a glass with me, except I've lost my glass. God, it's all the way over there. I'm stepping over my mortal crest over here. Raise a glass with me to Penny and John, who brought Colin into the world, to Ian and Jane, who brought Alison into the world, two fabulous people. Here's to